I remember the exact moment my ego died. It was 2019. I was sitting in my cubicle, listening to the fan on my laptop scream as it tried to process a file called Q3 underscore master underscore data underscore final underscore V3 dot XLSX. I felt powerful. I had just merged 5 different sheets using VLOOKUP. To me, this wasn't just data entry, it was architecture. I walked around the office with my chest puffed out. I was the guy people came to when their formulas broke. I gave unsolicited advice on pivot tables. I honestly believed I was the god of efficiency in that department. The confidence was real. I didn't have a single doubt in my mind. Then reality walked in. We hired a junior data scientist. He was 22, wearing a hoodie, and holding an iced coffee. I walked over to mentor him. I started explaining how I manually cleaned the data rows. He looked at me, confused. He didn't open Excel. He opened a black terminal window. He typed a few lines of Python, hit enter, and leaned back. I waited for the spinning wheel of death, the loading icon I was used to. It never came. The work was just done, instantly. In 30 seconds, he automated what took me 4 hours every Monday morning. I stood there, hearing the silence of his computer, and I felt physically sick. The God complex evaporated. In 10 seconds, I went from Tony Stark to a toddler playing with crayons. I had just experienced a glitch in the human mind that I call the flashlight paradox. We often mock people who are incompetent but confident, but we miss the tragedy of it. The tragedy isn't that they are stupid, it's that their incompetence hides their incompetence. Think of your mind like a flashlight in a pitch-black warehouse. When you first start learning something, whether it's coding or investing or even a new language, your flashlight is weak. The beam is narrow. You shine it on one tiny box in the corner of the warehouse. You see that one box perfectly. You think, I understand this room. It's just a room with one box. You feel safe. You feel confident. You feel like a master because you are literally blind to everything outside that narrow beam. This is the phase of false clarity. It is a place of pure, unadulterated certainty. You read one headline and you understand the global economy. You watch one video and you understand nutrition. The world feels simple, solvable, and clean. But why does our brain do this? Why are we wired to be so arrogant when we know so little? The answer lies in energy efficiency. Your brain consumes 20% of your body's energy. Thinking is expensive. Doubt is expensive. Nuance is calories. Evolution designed your brain to find the path of least resistance. It is metabolically cheaper to assume you know the answer than to admit you need to search for it. Imagine a hunter on the savannah 50,000 years ago. He hears a rustle in the grass. He has 2 choices. Choice A. He confidently assumes it's a tiger and runs. Choice B. He pauses to consider the nuance of the wind patterns, the density of the foliage, and the probability of predators. The hunter who chose nuance? He got eaten. The hunter who chose blind confidence? He survived to become your ancestor. Nature does not reward accuracy. Nature rewards action. And nothing drives action faster than the illusion of certainty. In the Stone Age, this kept us alive, but in the modern world, this survival instinct becomes a trap. In fact, entire industries are built to keep you trapped in the false clarity phase. Look at your social media feed right now. It is an industrial complex designed to sell you narrow flashlights. Get rich in 30 days. Master a language in a weekend. 6-pack abs in 5 minutes. The guru economy relies on selling you the view from the corner of the warehouse. They sell you the feeling of competence because they know that actual competence is terrifying. They hand you a tiny flashlight, point it at a pile of money and say, "See, it's easy." And because your brain craves simplicity, you buy it. You buy the course. You buy the supplement. You stand there, beaming with pride, perched on your tiny circle of light, unaware that you are surrounded by miles of darkness. But if you keep learning, something terrible happens. You accidentally upgrade your flashlight. You learn enough to widen the beam. And this is where the crash happens. This is the phase of the deep woods. As your light gets brighter, it reveals the massive, terrifying scale of the warehouse. Suddenly, you see thousands of boxes you haven't opened yet. You see the dust. You see the complexity. You see the wolves hiding in the shadows. This is why the PhD student often feels like a fraud, while the freshman feels like a genius. The freshman is staring at the beam. The PhD is staring at the darkness surrounding it. You look at your work, and you hate it. You compare yourself to the masters, and you feel small. You feel like you have actually gotten stupider. But here's the truth your emotions are hiding from you. You haven't gotten stupider. You have just cured your blindness. The panic you feel isn't failure. It is the vertigo of finally seeing the world as big as it truly is. That feeling of imposter syndrome? That is just the side effect of your flashlight getting stronger. This isn't a new struggle. We have been fighting this paradox for thousands of years. 2,000 years ago, the Oracle of Delphi made a controversial statement. She proclaimed that Socrates was the wisest man in Athens. When Socrates heard this, he laughed. He didn't believe it. He was a humble man. He knew he wasn't an expert on politics or poetry or stonemasonry, so he went on a quest. He walked through the streets of Athens interviewing every genius he could find. He spoke to the politicians who claimed to know justice. He spoke to the poets who claimed to know love. And in every conversation he found the same thing, the flashlight paradox. They all had narrow beams, but they all thought they saw the whole room. They were arrogant in their ignorance. That is when Socrates realized why the oracle was right. He wasn't wise because he knew more facts. He was wise because he was the only man in Athens who admitted the room was dark. He famously said, "I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing." His realization wasn't a celebration of ignorance, it was a declaration of freedom. He understood that the only true wisdom lies in admitting that the warehouse is infinite and your flashlight is small. So how do we live with this? How do we operate in the deep woods without being paralyzed by fear? Most people try to solve the anxiety by shrinking the beam. They retreat. They go back to the safety of simple opinions and blind confidence. They put the blinder back on. But you? You are going to do something different. You are going to enter the final phase, the keeper of the flame. You have to stop trying to be the smartest person in the room and start trying to be the best explorer in the room. Here are 3 mental shifts to help you survive the darkness. Shift 1. Reframe the fear. When you feel that imposter syndrome panic, don't say, "I'm a fraud." Say, "My light just got stronger." The fear is a signal that you have entered new territory. It is growing pains for the mind. Shift 2. The circle of competence. You don't need to light up the whole warehouse. You just need to light up the path in front of your feet. Focus on what you can control today. Master the one box in front of you, then move to the next. Don't let the infinite darkness stop you from taking a finite step. Shift 3. Fall in love with the mystery. The Excel God version of me needed to be right. The Explorer version of me just wants to know the truth. When you stop protecting your ego, being wrong stops being painful. It becomes interesting. "I don't know" is no longer a confession of weakness, it is the starting line of an adventure. The journey from the flashlight to the flame is long. It isn't a sprint. You will stumble. You will have days where you feel like that toddler with crayons again. But this time, your confidence won't be fragile. It won't be based on a lie. It will be real. It will be forged in the fire. So if you feel like a fraud today, take a breath. Look around at the darkness. It just means your light is working. Now, let's keep exploring.